I'm extremely nervous about this, but it'll be necessary.
Is there any danger that it will explode and kill us?
No.
Are you sure?
90%.
My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home.
The fiberglass era of our project is starting to come to a close. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and so it's time to start getting serious about painting the boat. We've done some painting projects, and rolling is kind of slow. Like I said, it's time to get serious. We are sponsored by Interlux and All Grip through Dave, the local representative. And if we did not have that opportunity, we would be buying the cheapest paint and rolling it and, saving money everywhere we could. But since we have this opportunity to do a really good job with really good materials, painting the boat, we're gonna take it by the horns. And so I've been hemming and hawing for quite a while now, trying to figure out what the best system would be, and what I landed on through talking with Dave and others in the industry is that I should set up a pneumatic system. So I got a 60-gallon air compressor, a brand new one. What we're going to do is set up a pneumatic system around the boat that I can use for both painting and for air tools like longboards and DAs. But the primary purpose for me doing this is to do a really good job painting the boat. And of course, there's a whole bunch of work to get this thing set up, lots of plumbing. And so Riley's coming over today, and we're going to spend the whole day getting this thing installed and ready to go. This thing is real heavy. I know.
Gotta move objects first before you can move other objects.
That's right.
What's that expression? 90% of life is just moving one object from one place
Back and
to another.
forth, yeah.
I think this is the perfect spot for storing this.
Yeah, except for this compressor is about half an inch taller than the door it has to go through, the hole it has to go through. But we're going to tip it over a little bit and make it fit.
Putting weight on the fan.
By now you know that there is an endless amount of sanding involved in this and any boat project, especially when it comes to painting. I want to get primer on the quarter birds and their changing areas and the inside of the doghouse, so I need to make sure that every surface in those three areas are all prepared. I use peel ply as much as possible because every surface that has the peel ply texture does not have to be sanded. This is a huge time saver when it comes to painting. But at the edges of the peel ply, places where I couldn't use it, or on original surfaces of the hull, I have to sand and sand.
So the goal this week is to get the inside of the doghouse and the quarter berths painted. It is always, primed, and it's always a frantic couple of days of work because there's a lot to do between sanding, getting everything sanded, all the peel ply removed, which is what my mom's doing in there right now, masking, cleaning, mixing paint, applying the paint. It's a mad rush to try and get it done, and so we'll be sleeping less for the next couple of days and hopefully get it painted tomorrow.
Once the sanding is done and the peel ply removed, we clean and mask. For now, these masking projects are easy because we're priming, and I really want to get the primer everywhere. In the future, when we're applying top coat, the masking will be very detailed. The last step before we can paint is to thoroughly clean the surface. Dave from Allgrip dropped off this T0170 by Allgrip, which is a slowly evaporating cleaning solvent. I use 2 rags with this cleaner. The first is soaked in the cleaner and is wiped on the surface. The second is dry and wipes off the cleaner, bringing all the contaminants with it. Clean surfaces are essential to good paint jobs.
All right, so we've got this air compressor hooked up. It's bolted to the floor. I've got a 4-stage, it's a air filtration, air dryer, water separator installed, and an air line running into the tent that goes over the boat. I've actually only got the first fitting hooked up because that's all I need today. I'm waiting for more parts to come to hook up the whole thing, but I haven't turned this thing on yet. It's wired in, and I'm supposed to let it run for 30 minutes as like a break-in period. So we're gonna turn it on and see what happens here.
I can tell you're really nervous.
I'm extremely nervous about this, but it'll be necessary.
Is there any danger that it will explode and kill us?
No,
Are you sure?
90%.
Well, that YouTube video will go viral if it does.
Yeah.
Get
No
so
good.
many
No good
views.
for us though, I suppose. Okay, you ready? Not as loud as I thought it was gonna be. Cool. Now I gotta close all the valves and everything and see if there's any leaks. All right, so we ran it for half an hour. This is what the manual said with all the valves open. And so now I'm gonna turn it back on with all the valves closed, pressurize the system, and see if we have any leaks.
How will you know if you have leaks?
I got some soapy water. I gotta go around to all the fittings that I screwed together and hope that, you know, I think it'll be a slight miracle if there are no leaks. Yeah, it's a leak right there.
Aww.
It's okay. Hopefully they're easy to fix. These need to be tightened a little bit. There were 4 leaks that I found, and I was able to fix 2 of them. The other 2 I'll have to fix when I turn it off, but they're not big enough that it's a problem right now. I've had this thing, it came up to pressure about 10 minutes ago and it still hasn't turned back on, so it's doing pretty good. But I think we're gonna go ahead and paint. right, the compressor's running, so the next thing to do is to paint. The space is heated. There's a minimum temperature that we have to keep the space in order for the stuff to cure, as well as a maximum humidity. So we're keeping it nice and warm in there. And what we're using is this Hole Guard Extra from All Grip, which is a 2-part epoxy substrate primer. So this makes sure that whatever coatings we put onto the boat will stick really well to like the exposed fiberglass, basically. And so some people call this a tie coat. So we'll put this on. The reason that I'm spraying it is because I'll get a more even coating, as well as I'll only have to do 1 coat. Spraying lays on more material than rolling on does. So that's why I'm doing this. I anticipate having to use at least 2 gallons, maybe 3. I have 3 ready to go. So, and in the future, what I'm going to do is use a pressure pot, which holds more volume, a higher volume of material. Today, all I'm going to use are these little cups, which is a gravity feed system that fits onto the top of my gun. And so I'll have to refill this a bunch of times, which will be annoying, but I just want to see how it works, get used to using the gun, and then later I'll set up the pressure pot system. So I'm trying to take this in kind of baby steps. This is a gun that I got from Fisheries. It's a 3M high performance spray gun. And the nice thing about it is that these tips are disposable. And so when you're done, you just take it off, throw this thing away, and there's minimal cleaning that you have to do on the gun. For anybody that has done any spraying with any HVLPs or conventional guns, know that the worst part about it is cleaning these guns, using tons and tons of solvent to rinse the whole thing out. And the nice thing about this is that you just pull it off, you clean the needle, and it's clean. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not a professional sprayer by any sense, by any stretch, I mean, and but you know, this doesn't have to be super pretty. So we're just excited to see it turn white.
Have you ever used an air compressor to paint?
Yeah, in the past, when I worked at the boatyard, I did a lot of priming, spraying my own boats, watching other people spray boats. It does a really, really nice job, but it's a whole bunch, as you can see, a whole bunch of setup.
And it doesn't have to look pretty?
Well, the reason that we're using this spray gun is so that it is prettier than rolling, and lays on more material. It's a more even, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it's not important to you that it's like super yacht level perfection.
Not yet. You know, this is just the substrate primer. So this is just the first coating of like 5. Yeah. And this will be a discussion we'll have in the future about how perfect do we want it to be. We could take it as far as we want to, but we want it to look nice for us. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, this is a test. So that thing says open the top 2 times. It says
So buying the air compressor was a really big expense, and you hemmed and hawed a lot about it. And I'm curious, after using it for the first time, including all the setup involved, was it worth it?
To be determined. I have a lot to learn. The setup is not done yet, and the first paint job I did okay. I can do better. It's a little streaky, I would say. So I think once I get it dialed in, I think it'll be worth it. We have a couple more Patreons to thank this week. First, thank you to Jørgen from Oslo. He has a Sweden C34 that he cruises around Norway, and we're excited to one day get a tour from him to cruise around the Oslo fjord. And then also thank you to Mark. He's out on the East Coast. He sails up and down the East Coast and into the Caribbean. He and his family have a 27-foot a day that they cruise around in the lakes, the Adirondacks, he said. So thank you very much to Mark and Jørgen and everybody who's been helping support our project.